Hello, everyone. We're a few minutes late, not late, early. Welcome. This is Ayasoma, and you're seeing here Bhante Sanatavihari. And Bhante Suddhāso is to his right. So Bhante will be will be giving a talk. Bhante Suddhāso will be giving the talk, but Bhante Sanatavihari, we're very lucky to have him with us here. And he will be guiding us in Metta Meditation for the first couple of minutes, actually 30 minutes of guided meditation. This is Aya Soma speaking and improvising with the camera. So hopefully things will go all right. So hello, Woody, and hello, Photodama, who I don't know who that is. And hello, Kevin. Hi, good to see you all online. All right, so it's 7:30 p.m. now, so we can start with the guided meditation, and then at 8 p.m. we can start with the talk. And last, hello, shout out to Priyanka, Melinda, I think, is there. Come, and Kevin again. All right, let's meditate together. And Bhante, thank you.
So first off, I'd like to thank Bhante for this opportunity to lead the meditation. And with his permission and the permission of the other monastics in this center, I'm more than happy to do this Metta meditation. So today we'll be practicing Metta Meditation, a meditation on universal benevolence. The way that I like to practice it is starting with myself, generating wholesome thoughts towards myself. For example, may I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Thinking these types of thoughts. The exact words are not important. The important thing is to get to that feeling, to that state of benevolence, of loving kindness towards oneself. Then after practicing towards oneself, one can practice towards those around you. For example, may all beings in this house, whether large or small, known or unknown, human or non-human, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. After that, you can expand this sphere of benevolence towards all the beings in your neighborhood, in the city, in the state, in the country, in the world, throughout the cosmos. May all beings, whether large or small, human or non-human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. So this will be a semi-guided meditation. I will initially start each stage, and then I'll leave it to you to keep practicing for a minute or two, and then I'll start the next stage. So make sure you're seated in a comfortable position. Back is straight, eyes open or closed. Redirecting your attention inside. Whatever sounds or thoughts or distractions arise, that's okay. When you find that you're distracted, just bring your attention back to Metta meditation. Okay, let's start. May I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Keep practicing. Now we can share this metta with all the beings in our house or wherever you find yourself. May all beings in this place, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this place, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Focus on the feeling. You can practice on your own. Now we can spread metta to all those beings in our neighborhood. May all beings in this neighborhood, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this neighborhood, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Keep on practicing on your own. Now we can share this metta with all the beings in your city. May all beings in this city, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this city, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Now we can share metta with all those beings in your state or province. May all beings in this state or province, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this state, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Now we can share metta with all the beings in this country. May all beings in this country, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this country, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Now we can share metta with all the beings on this planet. May all beings on this planet, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings on this planet, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Now, the final level, without limits, up into infinity. May all beings throughout the entire universe, wherever they may be, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, born or to be born, may they be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings throughout the entire universe, whether large or small, human or non human, known or unknown, born or to be born, may they be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Now that your mind is calm, body is relaxed, you can bless yourself with your calm mind. By the power of the Buddha, the awakened one, Dhamma, his teachings, Sangha, his noble disciples, may you be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Sadhu.
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 Thank you so much, Bhante. And hello to Dave, Yudi, and Sarah. Now I'll switch the camera to the other Bhante. Okay, should be good. All right. Thank you.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. First off, thank you, Bhante, for leading us in some meditation. And thank you to all who are joining in from wherever you happen to be. I think it's one of the really wonderful things about the modern age is that we have ways of being in connection with each other, even in times when we can't come together in person. We can still keep a sense of connection, a sense of fellowship, a sense of spiritual family with each other. And that's especially important in difficult times like this. So right now we're faced with this very challenging situation, this very scary and disturbing situation where every day hundreds and hundreds of people are dying, thousands of people are suffering, and literally billions of people all over the world are affected in one way or another by the pandemic that we're facing. And it's very easy at times like this to feel overwhelmed or to feel lost or to feel confused. It's very easy to fall into states of distress of one sort or another. And that's not surprising. It's the nature of the mind. The nature of the mind is to dislike uncertainty, it's to dislike danger, it's to dislike loss. And those are exactly the things that we're facing. So it's times like this when our spiritual practice is especially important. When it's especially important for us to make an effort to constantly improve our compassion, to constantly improve our samadhi, the power of non-distraction, and to constantly develop our wisdom. So looking deeply at our experience, looking deeply at our choices moment by moment, looking deeply at the patterns of mental activity that we choose to engage in. So this is not easy. Often when we're faced with difficult times, the first thing that we set aside is our spiritual practice. Often when we're faced with confusing or upsetting situations, the very first thing that we stop doing is we stop meditating, we stop studying the Dhamma, we stop contemplating the Dhamma, we start to get flexible with our moral principles, and then we fall deeper and deeper into misery and confusion. And as we fall deeper into misery and confusion, then we become even less interested in spiritual practice. we become even more prone to setting aside our spiritual practice. So it's really important in times like this to prioritize our spiritual practice, to make it our most important thing, to make it our top priority. So whatever we're faced with, whatever situation we encounter, first and foremost, remember the Buddha, remember the Dhamma, remember the Sangha. So remember the Buddha. Remember that we have, in recent memory, a fully enlightened being on this world, not so long ago, a little while ago. There was a Samma Sambuddha in this world. A being, a person who perfected the faculty of wisdom, who saw reality clearly exactly as it is, and all its wonderful qualities and all its terrible qualities. He saw reality exactly as it was, and he was not disturbed. He was not shaken. He saw it for what it was. A person who clearly saw the nature of all the sentient beings in this world and saw them with eyes of compassion, who saw all sentient beings with eyes of unconditional love, who saw all sentient beings with the genuine wish for them to be free of suffering, the genuine wish for them to be completely, perfectly happy, the genuine wish for them to reach that same unshakable serenity that he had reached. This was not so long ago. And bringing to mind the Buddha helps to remind us that even the most difficult of situations can be surmounted by training our own minds. Even the most challenging things in samsara can be overcome by becoming like the Buddha. And every single one of us can become like the Buddha. It's just a matter of practice and training. And remembering the Dhamma. So what is it that the Buddha taught? He taught explanations of the nature of reality, but more importantly, he taught practices. He taught ways of living our lives that leads us to understanding reality for ourselves. He gave us methods for cultivating the same compassion, the same wisdom that he cultivated. So the Dhamma, the teachings that he gave us, are practical. They're applicable. They're things that we can do, ways that we can live, which bring us closer and closer to the state of Buddhahood, which make us more and more Buddha-like, which bring us more and more into harmony with the mind of a Buddha. So recollecting the Dhamma brings us joy, knowing that even when we're faced with the most upsetting, confusing, and challenging situations, we are not without hope. There's always something we can do. We can train our minds. We can cultivate morality. We can cultivate generosity. We can cultivate compassion. And we can develop our wisdom. So there's always something we can do. It's not always easy for us to change the outside world, but actually often there's little things we can do. So actually ask yourself, what can I do to improve the conditions for others during this pandemic? Ask yourself this question. How can I help the situation? And you'll realize there's things you can do. Maybe they're small, but that's better than nothing. If 1,000 people do small things that adds up to a big thing. If 1 million people do small things, we can change the world. We can start to turn the tide. So ask yourself, what can I do to be of benefit to others? Because ultimately, this is one of the critical elements of our practice. So the Buddha said that we practice for 2 reasons: for the benefit of ourselves and for the benefit of others. Not just for one, but both. We practice both for our own benefit and also for the benefit of others. So always asking ourselves, what can I do to help? What can I do to be of benefit? So see what you can do to support the efforts being made by the medical industry. See what you can do to support the humanitarian organizations. See what you can do to help the people in your lives. If someone's feeling down, ask them how they're doing. Ask what you can do. Get in touch with your family. Ask how you can help them. Keep in touch with your friends. Ask how you can be of benefit to them. So always see, how can you be of benefit to others? So this is a really important element of our Dhamma practice. So practicing the Dhamma doesn't just mean doing some meditation. Oh, it's a really important part. Of course, it's really good to do meditation. A really important element of Dhamma is actually asking ourselves, how can I help? And then when you come up with an answer, do it. Do something to be of help. And recollecting the Sangha. So recollecting that you're not alone in this practice. There are many, many others who are walking this path. And you can reach out to them. You can take solace in them. You can learn from them. Even if you can't practice with them in person, you can practice with them in spirit. You can keep a similar schedule as they keep. You can keep similar practices. You can make an effort to be close to the Sangha in your heart, if not in body. So recollecting Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, this helps to stabilize the mind. And it's not something which requires sitting in a cross-legged position. It's something you can do all day long. So whether you're working or walking or talking or eating or resting or whatever it is you're doing, you can recollect the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha in this way. And also keeping your commitment to formal practice. So making that commitment that no matter what happens, every single day, we're going to do some meditation. Here at the monastery, we do a lot of meditation, many hours every day. That might seem like a lot to you, and maybe it is a lot to you. But can you do half an hour a day? Can you do more? Ask yourself, how much meditation can I reasonably fit into each day? And make a commitment. Every day, I'm going to do some meditation. Make a clear commitment as to how much, how many minutes per day, reasonable commitment, and stick to it. Follow through on it every single day. You might consider doing some chanting. So I think on Saturday morning, we're going to be doing a live chanting session, so that will give you a little taste of some chanting that you might consider doing. So chanting is a practice which goes back to the time of the Buddha. So since the time of the Buddha, people have been verbally reciting the teachings, chanting aloud recollections of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, chanting aloud the moral trainings that we follow, chanting aloud inspiring verses from the teachings, as ways of constantly orienting the mind towards the Dhamma, constantly reminding ourselves of what's really important. And remember to take the time to study, to learn the Dhamma intellectually, because that helps us to develop a basis for learning the Dhamma experientially. So listen to Dhamma talks. It's great that you're tuning in to this Dhamma talk, but listen to others as well. Listen to other monastics and see what they have to say in these times. So these days, a lot of monasteries are offering online programs of one sort or another. So these days, there's a lot of monastics who you can tune into online. Many different traditions, many different places, different languages. You can find all kinds of different resources. So tune into the Dhamma. There's lots available. And study the Dhamma. Read the suttas, read the Buddha's words, reflect on them deeply. Consider their meaning. So always keeping your practice as your priority, not letting it slip. In difficult times, our practice is our lifeline. Our practice is our flotation device. Our practice is our medicine. It's what keeps us safe, no matter what we encounter. So this evening, I was supposed to talk about the 3 harmful roots. But so far, I've been talking about the opposite, the 3 beneficial roots. So the 3 beneficial roots are cultivating not greed, but the opposite of greed, which is the mind of generosity, the mind of consideration, of thoughtfulness. And cultivating not aversion, but the opposite of aversion, which is the mind of compassion, the mind of kindness. And cultivating not delusion, but the opposite of delusion, which is wisdom, the mind which knows things as they are. So this is what's really important. So all too often we find that when we're in difficult situations, we nourish the 3 harmful roots. We get caught up in thinking what I want for me. And you can see how harmful that is. So look at the situation in Italy. When the pandemic crisis started to get bad, so many other countries just said, no, we're not going to help. We're just going to hoard supplies for ourselves. We're not going to help you. So that's the mind of greed. And see how much harm it does. Or the mind of aversion, the mind of irritation, seeking to blame someone, perhaps, or seeking to be angry at someone. Maybe being angry at politicians, or maybe fostering prejudice or hostility towards particular ethnic groups. These things don't do us any good either. They just make us unhappy. They just agitate and disturb our minds. They don't bring us any benefit. And the mind of delusion. Again, you can see this. The first few months of the pandemic, so many people were quietly pretending that nothing was wrong. Oh, there's no problem. So there's some weird disease in some other country, big deal. It won't affect my life. It won't affect me. It's somebody else's problem. But one of the things that we learn in Buddhism is that it's never somebody else's problem. There's no such thing as somebody else's problem. Somebody else's problem is our problem too. Because we care. We care about all beings. So somebody else's problem is also my problem. It's also your problem. Because we care about everybody's problems. And everything is interconnected. Everything is interdependent. Everything is interrelated. Nothing is separate from anything else. This is especially visible in these days of a globalized world, these days of a global society. when in a few hours you can jump on a plane and be on the opposite side of the world. When in a few seconds you can click some buttons on your computer and be speaking live with people all the way around the planet. So we live in a global world. So it's more clear than it ever has been that we're all connected. We're not separate from each other. And what happens to others affects us. And the choices we make affect all others. So we can no longer pretend that the problems in the world are somebody else's problems, because they're ours too. If we sit back and watch as bad things happen in other countries, well, it doesn't take long before they start happening in our own. Before it starts happening in our own neighborhood. Sometimes even in our own house. So it's really important to actively cultivate the 3 wholesome roots, to actively cultivate generosity instead of greed, to actively cultivate compassion instead of aversion, and to actively cultivate wisdom instead of delusion. Because this is how we can transform the world. So you look at all the problems that are happening, and we reflect, how much better would things be if everybody in the world was developing the 3 wholesome roots, the 3 beneficial roots, the 3 helpful roots, instead of the 3 harmful ones? The world would be such a better place. And we look at our own mind, and we ask ourselves, how much better would my mind be if I was completely committed to the 3 wholesome roots? If I gave no space at all for the 3 harmful roots, how much better would my own mind be? It'd be a lot better, wouldn't it? Be a much nicer place to live. So let's all make an effort. So this crisis can be a wake-up call for all of us. A wake-up call about the importance of caring for each other. And by each other, I don't just mean the people that you see every day. I also mean the people on the other side of the planet in a country that you don't want to visit. We care about them too. Even if you never meet them in your whole life, we care about them. Because they're people too, just like you and me. And we remember the importance of developing wisdom, of not just turning a blind eye to the suffering of the world, but remembering that this is the nature of the world. Disasters happen. We can't avoid them. But if we're willing to face them when they happen, then we can reduce the suffering a little bit, or maybe a lot. We have that power. So we do what we can in each moment. We do what we can to nurture the wholesome roots, the helpful roots, the beneficial roots, generosity, compassion, and wisdom. So those are my thoughts for this evening. So at this time, if there's any questions from online, we can go ahead and take some questions.
Right. Thank you so much, Bhante. And we have a few other friends that showed up. Hello, Andre. Hello, Jay. Hello, Roberto. Jen. Maria. Hello, everyone.
Hello, friends.
So we have a question from Bella. How do you deal with anxiety during being in quarantine?
Well, one really important thing is to watch your mind, to notice the thoughts that you're fueling, and to actively try to cultivate good thoughts. Or if you can't produce good thoughts, at least produce neutral thoughts. So, for example, during the meditation, Bhante Suddhāso was giving some examples of very wholesome thoughts to think. Thoughts like, may I be happy? May I be safe? May I be well? May I be peaceful? Thoughts like, may everyone in the world be happy. May everyone be healthy. May everyone be safe. So fill your mind with wholesome thoughts, and you'll find that there's no space for anxiety. Those kinds of worry and distress, those sorts of thinking, they don't have any place to land because the mind is too filled with bright, wholesome, happy states of mind. It's too filled with wholesome thoughts. And also cultivate awareness of your body. So just feeling your body. As you go through your day, feel your feet against the floor. Feel your body as it moves through the air. Feel your body as it's sitting, as it's standing, as it's walking, as it's lying down. And recognize that in the body, there's nothing wrong. It's just the body. There's no problem here. The problem is in our mind. It's in the runaway thinking. It's in the reactivity. And that's something that we can get control over through training, through practice, through constant effort. Okay. Next question.
Thank you. So Bobby is asking, will there be a chanting sheet for the chants on Saturday? I think I can answer that. Yes, there will be. We will post the link here a couple of minutes before the live stream on the live chat. If you really want it beforehand, you can send us an email at info@buddhistinsights.com. And Roberto says, may all beings wash their blessed hands. Thank you for the kind reminder. And Claudia asks, why does it seem harder to practice in difficult times, which is especially when we need it?
Yeah, because our mind is less stable. And when our mind is unstable, then we get a little bit crazier. And when we're crazier, we often forget. We forget the value of spiritual practice. We fall back on our more animalistic side, which seeks pleasant things and tries to avoid unpleasant things, which goes on habit and instinct, which goes on reactivity. Yes, that's not surprising. We tend to fall back on our deepest habits. And our deepest habits tend to be based more on the 3 harmful roots than on the 3 wholesome roots. So that's why we need to be especially vigilant during difficult times, because our old bad habits will come up stronger than ever at those times. So we need to make an extra effort. Next question.
Bobby asks, what meditation techniques are good for combating greed?
Actually, loving kindness meditation can be effective for this because we're thinking about the happiness of others instead of just about what I want. But one of the most direct ways of combating greed is reflecting on the ultimately unsatisfying nature of getting what we want. So recognizing that the things that we think we want are always temporary, and they're never quite as good as we expect them to be. So, of course, there's nothing wrong with getting what you want. Just remember that it's temporary, and it's not going to solve all our problems. It's just going to be a little bit of a distraction for a little while. But that ultimately it's only through training the mind to be peaceful and steady and clear and bright and knowing that we can be truly happy. Okay, next question.
So Melvin is asking, how do you wish for everyone to be well when you know that some people will not?
Well, of course, that's the way of things, that some people are sick and some people are going to get sick. That's always been the way of things. It's just more apparent than usual these days. But we still wish for them to be well. We want them to be well. We know that not everybody is going to be well, but we still want them to be. So loving kindness meditation, it's not about pretending that everything is okay. It's about developing a heart of benevolence, a heart of well-wishing, a heart of unconditional love for all beings, of just wanting the best for everyone, no matter what. Of course, we're not going to get that, but we still wish for it, because wouldn't that be so lovely? And notice what happens in the mind when we cultivate loving kindness. I can really tell it in my own mind. When I do loving kindness meditation, I get a lot nicer. I also get a lot happier. I also get a lot calmer. These are all good things. So of course we're wishing for something which is probably not going to happen, but we do it anyway because it makes the world a better place. Okay, next question.
Hello, Michael and Monica. Monica is asking, during Metta, I wish to be well. Okay, I'm sorry. During Metta, I wish to be well also to the inanimate objects in the room around me, and I felt love for this unfamiliar space. It helped to expand Metta.
Okay. Whatever works. The best piece of meditation advice I ever got was from my preceptor, Ajahn Pasanno. He said, do whatever works. If it works, it works.
Okay, thank you. And Kevin is asking, Bhante, can you talk a bit about the role of our natural instincts and these three poisons? That is uprooting the poisons akin to taming natural instincts? Good question.
Yeah. You can look at it that way, because much of what we consider to be natural instincts are impulses based on deeply rooted desire, aversion, fear, and confusion. So there's a really lovely story of there was a layperson who went to a monk and told the monk, very proudly, the person told the monk, these days I just follow my intuition as much as I can. And the monk said, well, that's just about the worst thing you could do. And what the monk was pointing to here is that our intuition, our instincts, our impulses are often not particularly wholesome. It might seem like a good idea at the time, but often it's based upon harmful habits. It's based upon habits of greed, desire, aversion, self-centeredness, fear and confusion. So our instincts, for the most part, are not to be trusted, at least not in the beginning. After you've been practicing developing a wholesome mind for a few hundred lifetimes, then your intuition and your instincts will be much more reliable. But most of us aren't there yet. Most of us, our instincts are still very much untrustworthy. So we can't go by our instincts. We need to work on developing wholesome habits for a long, long time before our instincts will become trustworthy. Okay, next question.
Yudi's asking, would you say that greed and aversion, with the exception of delusion, are part of our emotional reaction?
So we have a lot of different emotions. Not all of them are bad. There's a mixture of good emotions and bad emotions. Because ultimately what we're looking at is what brings harm and what brings benefit. So if an emotional reaction causes harm, brings unhappiness to ourselves or to others, then that's not so good, and we need to get some control over that. But if we have an emotion which is wholesome, which brings happiness and benefit to ourselves and others, well, that's not a problem. In fact, that's to be encouraged and developed. So yes, some emotions, some emotional reactions are based in the 3 harmful roots, but some can be based in the 3 wholesome roots. So it's not as simple as saying it's one or the other. Okay, next question.
Jen is asking, is fear considered aversion? In these times, I feel like I'm fighting fear the most.
So fear, it's usually connected with aversion and delusion. And that fear arises from a confusion about what's going on, a misunderstanding of what's going on, a lack of knowing of what's going on. Because if we truly deeply understood what was going on, then we would have no fear. That's one of the characteristics of an awakened being. An awakened being has no fear. They are completely beyond fear, totally fearless. But they also know the world exactly as it is. Again, they know all the wonderful things and all the terrible things, but they have no fear. There's a really beautiful story from the Suttas. There was a monk who had done some really bad things before he became a monk. And after he became a monk, he still had a reputation. So when he would go into town, people would throw stones at him. But when he went to the Buddha and told him about this, he wasn't speaking with hatred towards those people. He wasn't saying he was afraid of going into town. So he wasn't expressing any fear or aversion or resentment. Rather, what he said was he was speaking from compassion for those people. Compassion for those people who were expressing their own defilements. So this indicates that the mind of an awakened being is totally beyond fear because they see reality as it is. And they recognize that there's no value in fear. It doesn't bring any benefit to us. So fear, yeah, it does come from delusion. Aversion, often fear is about resisting a possible future, resisting a possible set of conditions which might happen. So we also need to acknowledge bad things might happen. In fact, they probably will, because we're still in samsara after all. So we acknowledge, yeah, bad things might happen. And if they do, I will face it with as much serenity, kindness, happiness, wisdom, and compassion as I can. So we make that resolution, and then we recognize that then there's no need to fear, because whatever situation we face, we'll meet it as best we can. We'll do the best we can. Okay? Next question.
Thank you. Well, that was the last question, I believe. Unless there, actually, no, there's another one that just came in. So Courtney says, thank you, Bhante. How do you navigate unavoidable exposure to those that have not come to terms with the 3 harmful roots?
Yeah, so that's going to be most people, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what you do in those situations, so first off, make sure your own commitment to keeping a wholesome mind is as strong as possible. So really remind yourself every day. So it's one of the reasons why we chant every day, is to remind ourselves to keep a wholesome mind. And in particular, develop compassion for the others who are even more confused than we are. Because they're having a really difficult time. And not only are they having a really difficult time, but they don't understand why it's so difficult. They don't understand that they're making it harder on themselves by fueling the 3 harmful roots. So cultivate compassion for them, and keep modeling for them compassion, serenity, tranquility. Keep modeling for them kindness and equanimity. And someday they might get the lesson. They might start to figure things out. But in the meantime, all you can do is just be compassionate towards them and watch your own mind. Keep your own commitment to goodness as strong as you can. Watch your own mind so you don't fall into the same mistakes again. Okay? Any other questions?
No, but we have a few comments from Cam. Wow, a few hundred lifetimes. Woof, a super long way to go.
But you might have already done a few hundred, so don't be too disheartened. You might already be well on the way.
I think he is well on his way. And Kevin says, ha ha ha, sad but true. I think about the fact that most people haven't come to terms to the 3 harmful roots. And Melinda Fontanet says, thank you, Bhante and Venerable Soba. Metta to everyone. And Courtney, thanks, everyone, together with some other people up on the list. All right, so I think we're done for tonight. Thank you so much, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Excuse me. And thank you so much, Bhante Sanata Vihari, for leading us in meditation. So Bhante will be leading us again in meditation tomorrow evening. And he will also be giving a talk to inspire our minds to practice. Bhante Suddhāso, on the other hand, will be offering another sutta study, more Dharma, less drama, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. New York City time. So you can tune in on YouTube. We're constantly posting the links on Facebook in case you forget where to find it on YouTube. And if you have any feedback, or if you want to see anything, hear about anything, or have any suggestions, feel free to send us an email at info@buddhistinsights.com. And Saturday, we will be offering 3 different meetings. The usual one at 8 a.m. with Sutta study, then afternoon meeting at 1:30 p.m. and same time evening 7:30 p.m. But on Sunday, we'll have a special event. So it will be our first online day-long meditation retreat led by Bhante Suddhāso. So we'll be practicing intensive vipassana, far away but so close. So would love to practice together. We'll give more instructions the day of the retreat. So Bhante will be giving suggestions. There will be time for also, of course, as usual, different questions on how your practice is going during the day, and we'll be meeting here and there. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight to listen to the Dharma, and sending you all much metta. Hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye. May you be well and happy.